Welcome, Battle Brothers. I am the Epic Narrator, and today we're going back to the old school. We got a narration today. This one comes from my Patreon, Tom Zimbardo, also known as Mostly Zen. This is the story of the Shark Attack Wave gun. If you would like a story narrated by me, you can hit me up on Patreon. Alternatively, if you'd like a nice little model to appear with your name on it, right here, then you can do the same. This is part 1 of the Shark Attack Wave gun. Chapter 1. It needs more Dakka. Warboss Zagrub looked over at the Great Gargant as it was being assembled. Already its hulking steel belly was taking form, and hundreds of grots and boyz clambered all over it, welding, riveting, and hammering the incarnation of Gork into being, while meks yelled instructions and pointed to drawings the boyz could never hope to understand. Zagrub could feel the Waaagh building.
It's good,
Zagrub nodded.
but it needs more Dakka. But boss,
Complained the chief mek, sweating nervously.
it's already got the biggest belly guns I've ever made. It's big enough for a grot to stand up in. One of the boys got stuck in there and we had to chop his legs off, chop him to get him out again.
Zagrub looked suspiciously at his chief mek. Zagrub knew that the mek was also building his own Gargant, and he didn't want any special bits to go on the mek boy Gargant that wasn't already on his, at a bigger scale.
It needs more Dakka.
Zagrub bellowed, making the smaller orc cringe and grimace.
Okay, boss, okay. Whatever you say, boss.
The mek practically sang, desperate to avoid his master's wrath.
I want one of them lifter droppers, like you mek boys make, on the left arm, but really, really big.
The Warboss explained.
And then, on the left shoulder, the biggest shark attack gun you've ever seen.
Zagrub held his arms out wide, as if miming a gun as big as the Gargant was wide, or maybe even bigger. His face broke into a manic toothy grin, no doubt imagining the carnage that his new gun would cause.
Boss,
Asked one of the assistant meks tentatively.
you sure you don't mean a shock attack gun? You see, a shock attack gun is when a flashy git sends a load of grots and snots from the warp, and they appear inside whatever he wants to crump, all gripping and demonical with tentacles and eyeballs and all that kind of stuff.
The assistant mek never finished his explanation of the workings of the shock attack gun, as the Warboss grabbed his head with a power claw and squeezed it until the bones went pop.
Do you mek boys think Warboss Zagrub is stupid? But no, boss, no, boss.
The chief mek and all of his remaining assistants chorused, suddenly developing an interest in whatever was at their feet.
I knows you is making a mek boy Gargant.
Zagrub continued, gritting his teeth and gripping the lifeless corpse of the assistant mek in his power claw while the servers whined and whistled.
All I knows is that you is building a Gargant-sized shark attack gun for it. I has spies. I is a warboss.
The chief mek and the second mate shared a quick sideways glance at each other, but looked away as the boss carried on with his ranting. They had learned long ago never to interrupt or question his command.
I want you to build the biggest shark attack gun that all kind has ever seen. And then we's gonna send mega sharks through the warp to crump the humies with sharks on their insides.
The meks were completely dumbfounded. They couldn't have even thought of anything to say, even if the threat of imminent death were not hanging over them. Eventually, the chief mek broke the silence. He simply cried. Yelled all the meks, joined by the Warboss and his retinue. Soon, the entire Gargant scrapyard were yelling the primal orc war cry, and psychic energy filled their air, making the orcs even more excitable and determined.
And I don't want no slow-loading shark attack gun.
The Warboss explained.
I want
He paused, counting on his fingers for a moment,
50 sharks a minute.
and with that, Warboss Zagrub and his retinue of meganobs and flashgits marched off to inspect the other Gargants being assembled.
Oh, walk.
The chief mech cried, holding his head in his hands once he was sure the Warboss was out of earshot.
How's this all gonna make a shark attack gun?
Thank you for listening, Battle Brothers. If you'd like to hear part 2, let me know in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Today's story was brought to you by my Patreon, Mostly Zen, and also the models as well. So if you'd like to hear your story on the Epic Narrators channel, hit me up on Patreon. And if you'd like to support the channel, again, why not do so on Patreon? You can find all of those links in the description and the comments below. And if you're into live painting, remember to check me out on Twitch. Again, those links are in the comments below. And until next time, brothers, may the Emperor protect you through Nurgle's blight.